Russell, a friend of Sarah Ferguson, has revealed that she's on the cusp of a nervous breakdown as her daughters are being dragged into the scandal over her association with Jeffrey Epstein.
A profound and unsettling chaos is reportedly unfolding within the gilded confines of Royal Lodge, where Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, is said to be spiraling under the weight of the monarchy's final rejection of her ex-husband. While Prince Andrew faces a very public fall from grace, insiders suggest that behind the estate's grand gates, it is Sarah who is truly on the edge, consumed by a turmoil that even exceeds his. After decades of an unconventional, codependent, post-divorce arrangement sharing the vast mansion with Andrew, the walls are now figuratively and literally closing in. The scene inside is described as one of disarray and disintegration, with corridors lined with packed boxes and unopened Amazon deliveries, forming a mountain of clutter. A perfect metaphor for a life of privilege collapsing in slow motion. According to sources, the atmosphere feels like the aftermath of a storm, and for the first time, the woman famously known for her resilience appears utterly defeated. She is reportedly paralyzed by self-recrimination, endlessly ruminating on, "What if I hadn't done this? What if I hadn't done that?" and blaming herself for the catastrophic turn of events. This marks a stark departure from her historic persona as the royal family's quintessential comeback queen, a figure who consistently managed to bounce back from scandal with a disarming smile and a new business venture. The very redemption machine that defined her for decades has, it seems, broken down completely, leaving her surrounded by the deafening silence of a vanished social circle and the crushing realization that her well-honed strategies for survival have finally failed her.
Of course, this situation has affected Sarah Ferguson. She's been forced to relinquish her titles. I think it's quite unfortunate, you know, that we have to discuss people's mental health in all of this, because it will no doubt take a huge...
Within the besieged walls of Royal Lodge, the contrasting reactions of its two inhabitants paint a portrait of a household in profound psychological collapse. As Sarah Ferguson reportedly paces through the cluttered corridors in a state of visible distress and self-recrimination, her ex-husband, Prince Andrew, has chosen a path of complete withdrawal from reality. According to multiple reports, the disgraced royal has retreated into the isolation of his private quarters, spending hours upon hours sequestered inside, immersed in video games. This starkly different coping mechanism presents a devastating image: a fallen prince escaping into digital distractions while his world crumbles, and a former duchess drowning in a sea of what-ifs. Once united by scandal and a decades-long cohabitation, they are now fundamentally divided by their forms of denial. The final devastating blow to any hope of recovery came with the revelation from the Mail on Sunday that Sarah had personally emailed the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, apologizing to him for having to publicly distance herself. This single email acted as a torpedo below the waterline of her carefully reconstructed public life, instantly vaporizing what remained of her reputation. The commercial consequences were swift and brutal. Her television deal with ITV was dropped, her publishers distanced themselves, and even her latest children's book, Flora and Fern, was quietly postponed. For a woman who built a post-royal career on the very monetization of forgiveness and bouncing back, the deafening silence from her former partners and the public now signals that her redemption narrative has reached its absolute, unequivocal end. To truly comprehend the spectacular nature of this personal and financial implosion, one must recognize the deeply ingrained pattern of entitlement and fiscal recklessness that has defined the House of York for decades. As biographer Andrew Loney meticulously documents, Sarah Ferguson's life has been characterized by a profound addiction to excess, a compulsion to maintain a royal facade long after the official funding and goodwill had evaporated. Her spending sprees were the stuff of legend, including a notorious hour-long $25,000 shopping blitz at Bloomingdale's. She maintained a lifestyle of staggering opulence, taking up to 9 holidays a year and employing a small army of staff, from cooks and chauffeurs to nannies, gardeners, and even a dedicated flower arranger. Evening meals were described as medieval banquets, with an extravagant spread of roasts, sides, and desserts served nightly, most of which was ultimately thrown away. This profoundly unsustainable existence inevitably led to a financial reckoning. By the mid-1990s, she was drowning in a staggering $3.7 million of debt, forcing her to desperately monetize her title through a series of often criticized commercial deals and endorsements, all to fund the image of a royal who refused to fade gracefully into the background. Now, however, time and the public's patience have definitively run out. The final consequence of a lifetime of scandal and perceived opportunism is a chilling silence. Friends report that the phone has stopped ringing, social invitations have utterly vanished, and even her most loyal defenders have retreated into quiet embarrassment. Her daughters, Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie, are said to be deeply concerned, urging her to undertake a serious rebranding effort. In a last-ditch attempt to salvage her public image, she has surrounded herself with a new team of PR fixers, professionals hired to meticulously repackage her as a leader in female positivity, with a focus on motherhood and philanthropy. Yet, industry insiders remain deeply skeptical, with one bluntly stating, "She's always managed to bounce back until now." This time feels fundamentally different. With her reputation in ruins, her commercial ventures collapsing, and her financial future more uncertain than ever. Sarah Ferguson is now reportedly considering the most drastic measure of all, a permanent exile from Britain, a final retreat from the nation that can no longer stomach her act.
After 4 years of research, after 4 years of looking into this woman, and who is, to you, Sarah Ferguson?
Well, Sarah Ferguson is a woman of great charm, great ability, a woman who could do a lot of good, has a great empathetic feel.
Even the fate of the late Queen's beloved corgis, Muick and Sandy, has become a subject of speculation, a small but profoundly symbolic question that perfectly encapsulates the confusion and disintegration of the entire York household. Buckingham Palace has confirmed the dogs will remain with the family after Royal Lodge is vacated, yet it remains unclear whether they will reside with Andrew, Sarah, or one of their daughters, a minor detail that underscores the total upheaval of their lives. Behind the thick hedges of the estate, Sarah Ferguson is described by friends as a woman actively unraveling, oscillating between fits of fury and depths of despair. One moment, she is consumed with self-blame, and the next she is lashing out at a world she feels has irrevocably turned its back on her. Insiders depict a haunting scene. She paces the halls relentlessly, plagued by insomnia and a loss of appetite, in what one observer called watching someone crumble in real time. For decades, Fergie cultivated a brand of unique resilience, consistently emerging from scandals with perfectly coiffed hair and flushed optimism, insisting she had learned a valuable lesson. Yet now, that instinctive ability to bounce back has completely deserted her. Privately, she is said to be haunted by her past, relentlessly replaying her life in a torturous loop. The failed marriage, the infamous toe-sucking photos, the Oprah interviews, the endless business ventures. She obsesses over every misstep, convinced that a single different decision could have averted this catastrophe. Her daughters, Beatrice and Eugenie, have reportedly stepped in, deeply concerned for her well-being and urging her to seek professional help. They've never seen her like this, a source revealed, noting she is simultaneously terrified of public humiliation, terrified of financial ruin, and terrified that she's finally worn out her last chance. What makes this collapse so stark is its very public nature. The woman who once masterfully courted the media is now trapped by it, with every headline and leaked quote cutting deeper. She can't switch it off, a source confessed. She reads everything, the comments, the articles, the parody accounts. It's eating her alive. Her recent, desperate attempts to regain control have backfired spectacularly. A new PR team, hired to rebrand her as a female empowerment leader, is reportedly struggling against an immovable public perception of dependency and excess. The notion of a tell-all memoir, once her go-to strategy, now seems impossible, with publishers deeming her uninsurable due to the high risk of fresh, damaging revelations. The final image is one of profound isolation. Andrew retreats into a digital void, locked away playing video games, while Sarah drifts through the mansion's packed-up rooms, clutching her phone and waiting for calls that will never come. The silence a stark testament to a reputation in ruins. The grand estate of Royal Lodge, once a symbol of their defiant and unorthodox alliance, has now transformed into a mausoleum for two souls paralyzed by their refusal to confront reality. A longtime friend described the atmosphere as unbearably heavy, a palpable sense of panic hanging in the air amidst the unopened boxes and packed-up memories. It is a scene that has moved beyond mere drama into genuine tragedy. Sarah Ferguson, watching the entire architecture of her life collapse in real time, finds there is nothing left to hide behind. The loyal staff who remain are said to tread as lightly as one would around a sleeping bomb, perpetually unsure of when the next emotional outburst might detonate. The combined pressures of eviction, financial ruin, and total public disgrace have pushed her to the very edge. She's fragile, an insider revealed. The tough facade has cracked. This is a woman genuinely afraid of what comes next. For the first time in over 3 decades, Fergie is navigating life without a safety net. There is no master plan, no pending brand partnerships, no lucrative speaking tours, and no guaranteed roof over her head. The vast network of enablers and fair-weather friends that once propped up her world has evaporated. As one acquaintance starkly put it, people loved the title. Without it, she's alone. Royal commentators see this as the final, inescapable act of her public story, a point where she must either find a way to reinvent herself with raw honesty or recede entirely into obscurity. The central, agonizing question is whether she possesses the strength for either path. Beneath the sensational headlines and hollow press statements lies a raw human truth. A woman is finally being forced to confront the ruins of her own carefully constructed mythology. The Duchess, who became the embodiment of survival, now faces the one scandal from which she cannot escape: herself. As movers prepare to systematically dismantle the physical remnants of her life at Royal Lodge, the overarching narrative of Sarah Ferguson, her meteoric rise, her countless reinventions, her unrelenting need to be seen, reaches its conclusion. It does not end with the applause she so desperately craved, but with a deafening silence. The once inseparable pair, who branded themselves as the world's happiest divorced couple, now occupy opposite ends of the same devastating downfall. The woman who lived for the spotlight now cowers from its glare. And as she quietly makes plans to flee the United Kingdom, the most poignant question of all lingers. Is Sarah Ferguson truly running from the external chaos? Or is she, ultimately, just running from the woman she sees in the mirror?